We got married about 9 months after my diagnosis, so.
You know, you hear those vows that you give, like sickness and health. I knew saying those vows that there's gonna probably be a lot of sickness. So, but it's worth it.
You had no idea. To be honest, first I'll be like, oh, geez.
No.
When people ask you what she has, what do you say?
Oh.
She had a syndrome that her kidneys would expel protein from her bloodstream.
I tell him it's like his kidney symptoms like doesn't work, doesn't filter his blood correctly.
People were like, what is that? I never heard of it. I was like, trust me, I never heard of it either until he was diagnosed.
I always tell them he has nephrotic syndrome, and what that means is just for whatever reason, he will randomly start to spill, which means pee, out protein from his urine.
And he has to take steroids and all types of medicine, which have bad side effects, obviously.
You probably get technical. I just dumb it
The immune
down.
system is attacking the kidney.
Oh, yeah.
In nephrotic syndrome, what happens is there's damage to the kidneys, and you start leaking protein. And proteins which your body depends on are leaked from the kidney, come in the urine, and are lost to the body.
There's no real cause, there's no real cure.
Probably the most common complaint is swelling.
Swelling of the eyes, swelling of the feet. Sometimes it's swelling of the abdomen, but the most common thing is actually swollen eyes.
Which is why when I told Emmy to explain it to her second grade friend, she looked at me like I was crazy.
I mean, can you imagine? Like, can you imagine what I was first diagnosed? What would be ahead? It's you know, I just had a time machine.
Well,
I won't ask.
16 years is a long time to be sick. You tell you dragged his feet for like 6 years before he proposed to me.
I tell you, I rushed into marriage at only 38.
When we met, he was 32 and I was 24, and we had 5 awesome years together. You know, we'd do anything we wanted to do, go anywhere we wanted to go.
I got diagnosed, I think I was 37 years old.
It's such a rare disease. There wasn't anyone next door to us that we can ask, you know, how do we get through this together? And that's just all you have is each other.
I met him in 98, and then we started dating after that, and we decided to get married like a year later. For the last 3 years, I have dealt with the illness.
It's difficult for me because I was going through some things at work, and I just don't know if I actually pitched in or supported or helped in the way that I should have. So it was probably twice as hard.
He was working out in front of my place of business, doing a water line for the city. God, he's cute and this and that, and you know, looking out the window at the street. Total dork, huh? He's laughing at me. It's true. I don't know, when did I tell you I was on dialysis? Did I tell you that first day at the park? Yeah, it never even fazed him, I don't think.
She was walking and talking.
Warm body, right?
He's definitely my partner, and he totally shares the load. I get home from dialysis, and it's so nice because it's like he'll take the dog out, or what do you need? You know, there's some days all I can do is brush my teeth and just get into bed because I just feel so crummy after my treatment. And I just know, you know, he takes care of me. It's intuitive, you know, he doesn't even really need to ask, he kind of just knows.
I'm not sure I even know today how best to support her. You know, it's trying to communicate and understand what somebody needs from you. And I think sometimes there's an assumption that you'll know exactly what that is. It definitely put a strain on the relationship.
I've spent a lot of time the last couple of years just trying to think about how I can slow down to be more present for him.
Because other priorities are happening and you're trying to lead life and move things forward, and you're not putting her first. And at times I probably should have, and been more thoughtful about how I approach something, or just, can I do something for you?
I got to a point where just like something as trivial as counting out my meds just became very uncomfortable for me. It's like just a depressing thing to have to sit down and do. And she took that over. It's the difference between, for me, sometimes just making it and not making it.
The best way to keep Brad's meds is in this travel bag. We had to leave the house in an emergency. You can always just take it.
It's 1,000 little things, all the different little things you have to do that you shouldn't have to do, right?
I do think it is good to have a friend, and I think it was good for Christina, you know, having her husband. He's got his own emotional involvement in what's going on, and the children, of course, and wanting to protect them, and having somebody else to talk to and say, you know, this is how I'm feeling, and kind of help to redirect or see the situation in a new way. And also with a language barrier going into the doctor sometimes.
English is not my first or second language.
I didn't have any answers. I'm not a doctor or a nurse, but I would just try and be there for her in terms of weighing different possibilities and talking about the different options.
So, you know, your friends start out when you're first diagnosed, they come and visit you in the hospital, they call you every day, and that goes on for maybe a few months. And then after 6 months, they call, you know, every month. And then after a couple years,
It's just the longevity of it.
I get that, man. You don't want to make people uncomfortable, right? By saying, well, Brad just went to the ER last night.
People don't want to be around depressing people and bitter people and angry people. Okay, they don't. So, I mean, I figured out a long time ago, if I want people around me, I have to be, I am happy, but I mean, you can't be like moping around all the time. Who's going to want to be around you? Nobody.
We have a lot of people that have been very good to us. A lot. We have awesome neighbors. We've moved into this community where there's a lot of people that care about their neighbors and the people around them. Brad's sister has been amazing. I really have relied on my mom and my aunt. I get very specific. Okay, my mom's day is Tuesday, my aunt's day is Thursday. But it's not when something pops up or if you need me, you can call me. And it's like, we're always gonna need you, and just come on your day.
If I have a day where I have a little cold and I feel a little under the weather, and I think, Brad feels like this every friggin' day, but more.
It's not an easy lifestyle, and it never goes away and you never get a break.
I don't know the statistics on divorce with disease like this, but it tests it. It tests it so much.
They've worked through it over the years and have maintained their devoted relationship to each other and been fantastic parents. It's caused a huge strain on their marriage, and I think they have excelled at surviving this and getting through it. I'm pretty sure that many other marriages would not have survived this, and many chronic illnesses do this.
I know this part's gonna be more challenging. Just tell the truth, okay?
I know, you told me that.
She was completely freaked out if I ever told a parent, if I told a friend. She never, ever told any of her friends. She still really won't talk about it too much.
So what are you being filmed for? This charity. Mom, yeah. What's up?
Well, early on, he would talk about it, but I have noticed the older he gets, like, why is he getting to a stage where he doesn't want to talk about it anymore? But I think he just wants to be a kid. He wants to be a kid at school and don't want to talk about anything that he feels that's a little bit different from what other kids have.
Say it one more time.
It's very difficult for him emotionally, especially as a teenager now.
Especially when he does have to take the big doses of the prednisone, and it completely alters his physical appearance.
Initially, there was that being made fun of for being fat and, the fat kid kind of thing.
And I remember saying to my boys, you have got to be there for him. I have his back. And if someone says something, you step up and say, hey, remember, he's gone through this. No jokes.
Bellarmine has been a wonderful, wonderful fit for Cheech. Their motto is men for others. When he was sick last year, they just really wrapped their arms around him, and his teachers were really great.
Like, I have conversations with the teachers, the administrators, the nurses. Let's work together to find a happy medium, because he's gonna miss days.
His teacher mentioned something to the parents. I know it's hard when you have sick children, but try to keep your sick kids home, because there's a student in class that can be affected by it.
The parents at Emmy School, were incredible. We'd get emails in the morning, so-and-so's got the sniffles, just wanted to let you know. I wouldn't normally send them, but I have no one to watch, or whatever it is. We just want to know so we can choose whether to keep Emmy home, or at least tell her, stay away from so-and-so today.
And there's days where he just doesn't feel like going to school, and I struggle with that as a mom, because you say, well, sometimes you just gotta pony up and you gotta go. But then other times it's like, well, some days you just need to stay home.
And sometimes, this pain would last 20, 30 minutes, and all he needs is just mommy or daddy there to hold him. Sure. And then get through it.
I felt alone when Cheech was first diagnosed. We didn't really have anybody to turn to or talk about. I remember even asking my pediatrician, have you ever diagnosed anyone with this? Do you know?
I can't rave enough about having Zach's mom and, other families having a mom there to say, you know what, he started this new med. How did your son react? What are some of the side effects that, you noticed him going through? Finding a community of people who can relate to you, I think, is like our biggest asset.
Dealing with the day-to-day struggles of nephrotic syndrome can be overwhelming.
You're trying to hide your stress and your anxiety so that they don't feel it. And
that's possible.
Because like they wouldn't want to show being scared to Cheech, but if I were them, I'd be scared, I guess.
I'll be brutally honest. I thought to myself, if we were in different households, it would be way hard. Yeah. I couldn't do that to him, and I wouldn't want to lose him. Sorry, I know this isn't marriage therapy.
Needless to say, it's hard on the family.
Yeah.
The main way that I've been there for them is by being there for them. Simply being somebody that they can contact and call or email when there's a problem. Sometimes when Cheech is having a flare-up, it's 2 or 3 phone calls in a day.
I usually try to talk to him about something else that's like gonna cheer him up, I feel like, just because, I don't know, just take his mind off of it.
Sometimes, like, we just forgot about it and had fun and stuff like a normal family, so.
It's not like we're running away. It's just, it is what it is. So let's try to make today a better day. Let's get out of this doctor's office and let's redo something. Let's get a project going.
You know, occasionally we try to get out and have a date now. We don't do a very good job of it.
We spend a lot of time together as a family, and that's what works for us. There's so much that he has suffered through, and so much he's done to just persevere. It's just, I couldn't do it.
I mean, I never tell her enough, but it's just, she sees the underbelly of this, and it can be pretty ugly, right? She said she couldn't do this. I don't think I could have done that. I think that would even be more difficult.
It's 11th hour on dialysis. So, I mean, it just, I didn't have a choice, really. I just
Right.
Sorry. You don't pick who you fall in love with.
Be proactive in getting a second opinion.
Educate yourself. Stay away from the computer. None of the stories are good.
Go to all the appointments, learn as much about how your spouse is going to feel, and talk about it as much as you can.
Be an advocate for your child. Trust your instinct. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to call the doctor. Because this is your child.
Get ready to be comfortable with ambiguity, because that's what it is.
So the one thing that keeps us going is hope. And I want to thank you all again for giving us that hope and that gift. Thank you so much.